Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live, real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am Carrie Dela Cruz here with you on this crazy Monday afternoon. And the first thing I want to do before I launch into the show about how I'm on to me is I want to give a really big shout out to all of my Kiwi friends down there in New Zealand, because as someone who lives in earthquake country, I got to tell you, Uncle, I'm crying Uncle. I watched the videos and I'm like, that just blows away anything we ever have to contend with here. I am a wuss. I am a wimp. I would have been under the doorway, or under the bed before I was even awake around something like that. And I'm watching these videos of people going, we're having a little bit of a temblor here. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd be running and screaming and standing under the doorway doing all of this. And it's craziness. So I want you guys to know that not only do I honor you and respect you greatly, I send all of my prayers your way. I know how jittery it feels when you're having to suffer with the aftershocks, not knowing if that was really just a foreshock or what for a while. But as each day passes, I know you get your sea legs and you feel a little bit better. So I hope you are all safe and well. And just know that the minute I read about that, you were all on my hearts and in my mind. So I hope you're all well. If you get to join me today, maybe this will take your mind off it a little bit. So with my little public service announcement for earthquakes going out to all of my New Zealand friends, let's get into it. Okay, now this might be an unusual show. I don't know. It kind of started with something I wrote this weekend about dramifying or dramaticizing. And that's the idea of making a situation more dramatic so that you have reason to, eat. Usually, that's what it boils down to for a lot of us. But whatever it is, participate in any number of unhealthy behaviors or thinking or whatever, okay? So dramatifying, like justifying unhealthy behavior by making something more dramatic. So it kind of started with that, and I may speak to that specifically. But I realized, a lot of the reason, I was very guilty of that, by the way. Oh my gosh, like really, I'm a pro. I am a pro at dramatifying. It's amazing. And I do it I'm so adept at it that people don't even realize I'm doing it until they do. And that's kind of the problem. When people are onto you and you're not onto you, that's kind of awkward. And I see that a lot on Facebook. I mean, that's what social media does. Social media enables us to be on the outside looking in on what people are willing to show us, right? And here's the crazy thing. People are willing to show us crazy stuff, aren't they? So a lot of people are onto you before you're onto you. And I wonder what happens, because I really didn't do too much of this before social media, meaning, I like to think I didn't air too much. I aired a fair amount of my dirty laundry, before him, but I was on to me pretty quickly. But a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are like, do you have any idea what you're saying or how you look or how unbelievable it is what you're telling me? I mean, it's just, and you lose support because you're not onto you. Well, I'm onto me. And what does that mean when I say I'm onto me? All right, it means that I have stopped being impressed by my own BS. That's, first and foremost. I'm no longer dazzled by my expertly crafted lies. I've given up creating wildly implausible scenarios to garner pity and excuses from myself. Right? Okay? When I say I'm on to me, it means I now question and laugh at, all too often, the stuff I used to peddle as fact. I can't believe the stuff I used to believe. I spent a lot of time shaking my head going, oh, did you really believe that, Carrie? Did you really think that? Did you really say that? Oh, it is absolutely crazy. I'm incredulous half the time. I can't believe I ever got away with that with me. It's just... Ooh, when I think of the crap that I used to say and believe, it's mind-blowing. But anyway, I just don't tolerate it anymore. That's really the bottom line of that. Don't tolerate it. And maybe that takes a lot of courage or self-awareness or something. And for me, I think it just takes an intolerance of finally deciding I can't take it anymore. I just, it's so absurd. It has gotten so wildly out of hand that I can't even top myself anymore. So, maybe that is self-awareness, or, maybe that is, but I think it's just kind of like my suspension of disbelief. I've set that aside, and now I'm just like, I can no longer not believe it, that I'm lying. So, I think it just takes like a modicum, a smidgen, an iota, a drop, a little bit, the tiniest little bit of rationality and healthy pride. Healthy pride, which just kind of says enough, okay? Enough. You're not making yourself look any better here, and you're not getting any better. So it might be time to do something about it. How about you do something different than you've been doing, Carrie? And that's kind of where it started for me. And these days, boy, when I look back on some of my pre-recovery lies and the things that I denied, and I mean, things that I just, oh my gosh, the stuff that I believed, it starts with, oh boy, and it usually ends with, I cannot believe I ever believed that. So that's kind of how it looks, the scenario. But let me go a little bit deeper with some specifics, okay? So I think I've kind of adequately conveyed the emotion behind the being on to me. Like the day that I finally woke up and went, oh my gosh, it's that moment of shock and not so much awe. I'm going to start with obvious kind of stuff. Let me just give you this example. I would say to myself, well, this time will be different because, blank, whatever it is, blank will be different, even though it wouldn't be, but I would say that it would be. And then I'd go, so I'll just, have one blank and then I'll stop. I would say that over and over and over, even though the evidence to the contrary was out there for the whole world to see. Everybody else was on to me before I was on to me, but that's what I believed. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking like, because the blank, this time it will be different because blank, and I'll only just have a little blank. There were a lot of blanks that I filled in with ludicrous stuff, and I think it was kind of like a game of Mad Lib. Have you guys ever played Mad Lib? It's like, you ask people for things like a noun, a number, a color, a person's name, a verb, an adjective, whatever, and you fill in the blanks, and they don't know what the story is. So you, as the asker, are just filling in the blanks, and usually it's quite funny if you're the asker because you kind of know where the story's going before the person who's answering, the answerer, answers the question. So you're kind of sitting there, filling in the blanks, right? Okay, so it was really fun. But in my case, I was the asker and the answerer, which kind of boggles the mind when you think about it. So in other words, I would ask myself how to fill in the blanks for a story that I already knew how it was going to end, and yet I was always fascinated every time I came up with a story. So here's how that might have looked, okay? I even wrote a little story. I'm going to start with blanks. You guys ready? Okay. Day of the week, Tuesday. Name of a friend, Jan. A celebration or event, a quilting party. Let's see, potluck dish, a potato salad, a number, 27. Let's see, a dessert, red velvet cupcakes. Let's see, number 4, same dessert, red velvet cupcake. Okay, I can do that. Adjective, sticky. I'm going sticky. Same occasion, quilting party. Number, 14. Another number. Ooh, this is fun. 9. I wonder where this is going. Let's see here. Let's see. Adjective. Green. I don't know. Let's see. Verb. Oh, good. I didn't get one of these. Past tense. Let's see. Laughed. Let's see. Another verb. Past tense. Jumped rope. A number. 19. Another number. 20. And finally, a feeling. Joyful. All right, so you want to hear my story that I already knew when I filled in the blanks? Last Tuesday, I got an invitation from Jan to attend a quilting party. I was asked to bring potato salad for 27 people. I decided to make my famous red velvet cupcakes instead because they always taste so good. I made 4 servings of red velvet cupcakes because I wanted there to be enough. When I got there, I noticed that everyone had brought dessert and it all looked so sticky. Since quilting parties only happen 14 times a year, I decided to have just 9 bites of everything so no one would feel green when they announced that we could get in line. So I laughed out of my chair and jumped rope to the front of the line so I'd be first. I got 19 full plates and went back 20 times for more. I wasn't planning on eating that much, which made me joyful. Well, that was fun, but just not for me because I was the one both writing and doing the story. Does any of that sound familiar to you guys? Did you ever play Mad Libs with your own recovery? Well, the funny thing is, even though it didn't sound very much fun, it didn't stop me from playing games. All right, I kept doing it with my own health, and with my food. I did. I played lots of games. Now I know you're probably going, look, this stuff isn't funny, Carrie. It's just not funny. All right, when we're talking about obesity, or we're talking about food addiction, or we're talking about shame and hopelessness and lack of control, there's just nothing funny about it. I don't know how you could think that it's a game of Mad Libs, but I kind of think if I can't laugh, I might cry, right? Spend a lot of time crying. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll find a way to laugh about it. And let me tell you, my lies, my denial, my excuses, justifications, rationalizations, they were nothing to laugh at. They boggled the mind, okay? But why did I keep doing it? I mean, that is the question, right? If I'm on to me, why did I keep doing it? Why did I keep making promises I knew I was going to break? Why did I exaggerate the problems so that they would sound even worse? Why did I always make myself a victim? Protection. I mean, that's what we learn. That's what psychologists will tell you. That's what you learn. It's protection. It's the way that you learn to protect yourself from painful reality. So, you know, if you make it more dramatic and other people will give you pity and sympathy and compassion, then you get better and better at it because it makes you feel better when other people feel sorry for you. All right? If you can rationalize and justify and lie about the truth, then you don't have to believe the truth because the lie is much more believable and it feels better. Right? All right. I wrote this. Plausible deniability and incredulity are great forms of protection against the pain of reality. You got that? Just plausible deniability. You know, the ability to believe something unbelievable because it kind of sounds believable. I think that's what a lot of us do. All right? When we are dealing with morbid obesity, I always say that, morbid obesity, when we're dealing with that, it's really hard to believe or deal with reality, right? So we make up all kinds of things to make ourselves feel better and to elicit sympathy or understanding from others. And as long as we can keep it out there away from us that it's not our responsibility or that we're not playing any sort of role in it, then we don't have to feel worse about ourselves than we already do, right? So, I mean, it really makes a lot of sense. It can be really hard to accept crap of your own creation. You may quote me. That's a bumper sticker. And it can feel like blaming the victim. I mean, think about it, right? You already feel bad, and then you blame yourself, so now you feel worse. Something doesn't seem quite right there, right? But then you realize that all too often, you're only the victim because you cast yourself as the victim. You made yourself the victim when you really didn't even have to be. So that's why you're blaming the victim, because in many cases, you make yourself a victim. And that's something that's really hard to accept about ourselves. For those of us who like to be victims, right? It's really hard to accept that about ourselves. At some point, I mean, this is the thing. Everybody's like, well, when did this happen? Or what was the turning point? Or when did you decide? At some point, if I'm being honest, I had to admit my own role in my sickness, in my disease. I had to admit that I played a role. At some point, I had to acknowledge I was responsible for a lot of my own misery. I was doing it to myself. I had to own that. At some point, I realized that my life really isn't a Mad Lib where I just fill in the blanks for a story that I already know, but just want to make less believable by filling in the blanks with crazy stuff that no one would believe. It's like pretending I don't have the answers that I already have. See, there's that plausible deniability. It's absurd, and it doesn't make any sense, and yet a lot of us are really experts at doing it. So others were on to me for a really long time before I was. And I think we find this a lot. If we are professional addicts, for example, we're professional with our obesity, we get very good at changing friends or changing the people that we surround ourselves by when they no longer want to put up with our crap. When they're on to us and they get done with us, it's time to move on. They're bad and wrong. Right? They don't like us anymore. It's only because they're sick and tired of the BS that we seem not to be sick and tired of. Okay? That's how we perpetuate our sickness for so long. That's how we put up with it. I did my best. I spent a lot of time marginalizing people, dismissing people, avoiding people. I got very good at all of those things. And I think a lot of us will admit that pretty much, yeah. Think about, how did we avoid people? Oh, I don't know. If I had a 10-year high school reunion, I wasn't going to go because I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't want to go to parties or family kind of get-togethers or whatever because I was fat. So I avoided people, right? I marginalized people for just not understanding. You've never had a weight problem. You just don't understand what it's like, right? I minimized or dismissed the things that they were saying and said, yeah, you know what? You're just not a very nice person. That's why you would say that. Only someone who's not nice would say that to me. See what I mean? So I would always control my level of disbelief, right? But one day I woke up and I said, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like reliving that moment right there because my whole body just got a little bit numb on that. The day that I woke up, and I just went, oh, I know the truth, and I can't deny it anymore. It doesn't fit. I can't peddle this anymore. Oh my God, it's just like reliving it, and reliving it. Do I really think I could ever believe that again? No, no way. Do I really think I'll stop, eating X once I start? No. No way. Do I ever believe that? I am so on to me. Do I really think that exaggerating the situation is going to justify my unhealthy behavior? No, I don't. I just don't. I can't believe that I ever did, but I certainly am not going to believe it anymore. They call this, by the way, being baffled by your own BS in recovery circles. And I was such a great BSer. I was bedazzled. Okay? Woo! I was amazingly good at it, all right? If I had a bad day at work, I was going to make it more dramatic with every telling so that when I went to the grocery store, I could buy candy to make myself feel better. Of course I could, and no one was going to question it, right? The more gory details, the better, right? Yeah, the devil is in the details. That's what they say. It's kind of funny because, I'm a logical person, I like to think, or I'm rational or pretty intelligent. And yet I would cast myself as this ignorant person who would pretty much believe anything, even if you could prove that it wasn't true. And that's so weird that that would be so contrary to who I was as a person. And yet to protect my disease of obesity, that's what I would do. I would deny the reality of who I really, really was so that I could continue to protect myself from my awful, awful disease. But in doing that, I was just perpetuating my own sickness, my own illness. That's the thing. But when you're stuck in that sickness and you look around and all you see is sickness and you don't see any hope, that's what you do. You just keep doing what you always did. You keep doing what you know. And then you crank it up. You turn the heat up under that pot until it's boiling over. It's what we do to protect ourselves. And it seems so contrary. And when someone's on the outside looking in, they're the people that are saying, stop, stop. Why do you keep doing that if it's going to hurt you? If you know you're going to die from your morbid obesity, why do you keep eating? Stop it. See, it boggles the mind, doesn't it? I don't know. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? So many reasons that I talk about on the show every day. The things that eat us up, the ways in which we want to protect ourselves, the ways in which we want to feel better because we don't want to feel worse, right? There are so many reasons. It's not simple. It's not simply just put the fork down and push away from the table. There's so much more to it. But when you're on the other side and you're in recovery and you're looking back at the life you lived, you say to yourself, why did I ever think that I didn't have hope or a way out? Why did I ever think that was okay? What made me think that there was no hope? What made me not believe in myself? What made me think I wasn't enough? It's just, I'm thankful. I thank God I'm on to me now, because I don't have to believe those lies anymore. I don't have to believe that there's no hope. I don't have to believe that I can't do better, or that I'm not enough, or that I'm not worth it. I don't believe that anymore, because I'm on to me and it's not true. And I can't do it for you. I can't make you believe these things. Sure, I can be on to you. I can sit on the outside and go, do you really believe that? Do you really believe what you're telling me right now? Because I don't. And I know you don't either. Put it down. Put it down. Choose recovery. Get better. But I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. I'm just grateful I chose it. And that's why I do this show every day, because I want you to choose it too. Here's what I would say to you. If you want to be on to you and to finally choose to get better and to stop living in sickness and stop believing your own stuff, all right? It is embarrassing, I get it, but you got to stop being embarrassed, all right? You got to stop beating yourself up and start making amends to yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, but make amends to you. Forgive you. And say, you know what, I did that when I didn't believe better. I did that when I didn't know better. I did that when ... But now I don't have to anymore. And I'm going to make good on that for me. I'm going to make good on that for me by not repeating that mistake again. I'm not going to do that to us. That's what I say to myself. I'm not going to do that to us, because now I know better and I'm going to do better. How? I'm going to own my crap. And some of it stinks, people. Some of it really stinks, but I'm going to own my crap, and I'm going to raise my hand, and I'm going to say, my bad. Yep, my bad. Moving on. Not going to repeat that, because I don't like it. I don't want to repeat that again. I'm going to call myself out sometimes. Carrie, seriously? Really? I don't know what you were thinking, me, but enough of that. That'll be enough of that. I call myself out. I call my own bluff. Really? So you're really going to do that then? All right, let me see you. Prove it to me. God, you know what? I always give in. Call a spade a spade. Just call it what it is. Don't make it worse than it is. You know, it might already be bad enough. Don't make it worse than it already is, all right? Don't exaggerate. Stop filling in the blanks. Don't live there. This is not a game of Mad Lib. You already know the story, all right? And guess what? You know how the story is going to go, and it's not funny, all right? So if you want to be on to you, that's what's involved here. You know, a certain amount of compassion, a certain amount of awareness, a certain amount of courage. But I think a larger helping of forgiveness, you know, goes a really, really long way. Deal with life on life's terms, which is reality. It's just, what is it? What am I dealing with right now? Nobody ever said I had to like it. Nobody. And I may not be able to make it any better, but I can certainly make it worse unless I'm on to me. All right, so deal with life on life's terms. Sometimes that looks like retelling it, going, wait a minute, I just exaggerated that. That was absolutely not true. That was absolutely not true. I have to retell the story to myself or to someone else until I get better at it. And I stop exaggerating and I stop dramatifying, right? Stop playing games. Stop filling in the blanks as if I didn't know any better, because I just did. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And laugh. Learn to laugh with yourself, not at yourself. Just with yourself. Because you know what? That's what friends do. We laugh with each other, don't we? And if you want to be a friend with yourself, find ways to laugh with you. Crack yourself up. I crack myself up all the time, especially when I watch these videos back, and I'm like, seriously, Carrie, you were like drooling, your lipstick was on crooked, you know, you were making funny faces. Oh my, I laugh with me all the time. I crack myself up. So what I would encourage for you guys is, like in my case, get smart, stop playing games, and own your truth and be on to you. And just do the best job you can, absolutely every day. The funny thing is, people who know you are already on to you. And if you're not really sure about something, ask a trusted friend. Hey, do I do this? Or what do you think of this? Or how could I handle this a little better next time? Ask a trusted friend. They will tell you. And soon enough, I think you're going to become your own trusted friend. I know I'm a pretty good friend of me now. That's what I want for you guys. So we've gone long enough. I'm not going to look at your comments now because I don't want to drag us on and on and on. But I will, comment back after I go offline. And I do want to thank you guys for being here, for showing up as ever, and encourage you to share this. If you think this is worthwhile, you think this could help someone else, boldly, bravely, courageously, share it. You can't make anybody else own their crap. You just can't. You can't say, come on, get on to you. You can't do that. But you can show them, and maybe they'll see in here an opening that says, wow, I can choose better. I can live better. I can be a better version of myself. There is hope. So I do encourage you guys to share this with others if you think there's value, because again, we're trying to increase the viewership here so that we can reach more people and build an even stronger, loving, and compassionate community of people who want recovery. So that's it. I'm going to sign off and remind you guys all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you guys tomorrow, and to all my Kiwi friends, hang on, guys. Just know my prayers are with you. Bye, guys.